I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx. No limits, all dreams.
Because, you know, once you get there, the party really starts.
You know I have to arrive fashionably late.
You're gonna hear about my party, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me.
I just want a little bit of peace and love.
Probably what was going through her mind is her career flashing before her eyes.
I just kind of hit the wall and was just like, I can't do this anymore.
Puffy's recent arrest on racketeering charges and more things I can't say has sent shockwaves throughout Hollywood, turning the spotlight on his infamous past parties. And as the scandal unfolds, a lot of celebrities once linked to his star-studded events have noticeably remained silent. So in the midst of the controversy, a resurfaced photo from the 4th of July party in the year 2000 has reignited buzz on social media. So in the image we see Puffy in bed alongside Jennifer Lopez, Aaliyah, Andre Harrell, Natane Adcock, and Damon Dash. Most folks are dressed in white, minus Puffy, J-Lo, and Natane, adding to the intrigue of the moment. And then there's another photo. We see only J-Lo and Puffy cuddled up on what appears to be, once again, this oversized bed covered in white pillows. And after seeing the group photo, folks online are calling the industry cruel, wild, awful. Somebody said, poor Aaliyah dealing with Puffy and some other artists who we can't talk about. Well, another wrote, like, Aaliyah specifically was so vulnerable and unprotected. Like, OMG, that poor girl was in all the wrong spaces. That industry was so cruel the way they treated her. So look, if you look at the photo without the context, it could capture maybe an intimate, a joyful moment, a playful moment. Or maybe that's just what they want this photo to convey. The cheerful scene now stands in stark contrast to the grave allegations that Puffy currently faces, casting a shadow over those once glamorous memories. Fans on social media have reignited a lot of discussions around the resurfaced photos, with many expressing surprise and reevaluating Jennifer Lopez's silence amid the allegations. They also wonder whether or not the Jenny from the Block singer was left traumatized during her time with the rapper. Somebody said, that divorce with Ben Affleck makes more sense now. The Let's Get Loud singer at the time dated Puffy for like 2 years before calling it quits in 2001. Puffy and J-Lo had a roller coaster of a relationship, and fans want to know, like, just how traumatizing was it for J-Lo? And also, what else is there to say about it? This relationship was one for the history books at the turn of the century. It was turbulent, but hey, according to the duo, they wouldn't change a thing about how it all went about. Or at least that's what they're saying. So when J-Lo previously opened up about the dating history, she explained that the duo met just as she was entering stardom. She was preparing for the release of her debut album, which Puffy helped to produce. Talking to CBS in 2019, she said that he became kind of a mentor to her in that moment. They had this kind of crazy, tumultuous relationship that ended in a bang. And despite the hardships in their relationship, J-Lo recalled the lessons that Puffy taught her while they were together. He gave her so many cues, taught her so many things. She mentioned this in an interview with Access Hollywood in 2014. She'll always be grateful to him for that. She loves that he could be so supportive of her so many years later. There was still so much mutual respect, admiration, and love there. Now, if we're looking at how iconic this relationship was, Puffy was J-Lo's date to the Grammy Awards in the year 2000, where she wore that iconic green Versace dress, the one that we all reference, the reason that we have Google Images. So when you look back at that moment, Puffy told Entertainment Tonight back in 2017, like, it was just a wow moment. They were really stepping up their game as far as what they were wearing, how they were going to use fashion. He thought it was really going to change the game as far as for her and for fashion. He didn't know how big it was going to be, but it was a great moment for her, and he said she deserved it. So on the other hand, J-Lo described this relationship and this point of time as being crazy. She was totally crying, she was going nuts, her whole life was in a tailspin. She said that she knew he was cheating on another woman even though she never technically caught him. Like, she just knew. He'd say he was going to a club for a couple of hours, he'd never come back that night. You trust your instincts. In 2003, J-Lo opened up about her relationship to Vibe magazine, and she explained that it was the first time she was in a relationship with someone who wasn't faithful. News outlets have reported that J-Lo did not deny knocking on hotel doors trying to find Puffy. She's like, I can't remember right now, but I won't say it didn't happen. She mentioned that she left him because, like, she had to think, does she want to be home in 10 years wondering where somebody is at 3 in the morning? I don't. I need my sleep. The Let's Get Loud hitmaker and the I'll Be Missing You rapper broke up in February of 2001. That's when the rumors of his infidelity began to circulate in the mainstream. Now, at the time, Puffy's publicist said that, he confirmed that he and his love, J-Lo, have in fact broken up. He wanted to put all the rumors surrounding the relationship to rest. At that difficult time, they asked for privacy. So then after this, J-Lo explained that she met Chris Judd, a backup dancer. She would have a short marriage with him. And she mentioned, like, coming out of this crazy relationship, she meets this sweet person who's so refreshing. But marriage marriage is not just about love. She thought she had learned that in her first marriage. She loved Chris, she still loves him, he's one of the best people, it wasn't an easy thing to walk away from, but she admitted that they didn't have what it took to make a marriage work. Chris knew that the last thing she ever wanted in this bleeping world was to hurt him. If we're gonna take to social media commentary, somebody's like, hey, has anybody ever considered the fact that JLo might be traumatized from Puffy, which is why she can't stay married? Well, look at this. JLo revealed in a 2001 interview with Rolling Stone that Puffy would often threaten to divorce her, despite the fact that the two actually never got married. She said, like, a lot. He told me many times, I want a divorce. She explained that this threat would come up often, usually when they were struggling to find time to see each other because hectic schedules, and Puffy, frustrated by their lack of time together, would just say, I'll be away so much, or I can't get away, but where do I send the papers? So after this, JLo admitted, like, it was exhausting. She mentioned, like, it was a great time in her life, but it was also scary. They broke up many times before it hit the mainstream news. They got back together, they broke up again, nobody knew about it, it was emotionally exhausting, and she tried to joke. She was like, oh, it was good that I did it when I was young. So Jennifer's first husband, Ojani Noah, previously spoke about how he would get jealous because JLo was still spending so much time with Puffy while the two were married. He said, I rang Jen, asked why she was going out with him on dates. She said it was just business, this is what I'm being told I have to do. Her husband was jealous. He was like, he would scream, but you're married. So the pop diva tied the knot with Ojani in 1997. She was married to him for less than a year. One of her friends, one of JLo's friends, photographer, journalist, socialite Salma Francesca, believes like JLo never got over the romance with Puffy. And look, given all of what we've talked about today, there's a lot of folks online that are questioning why JLo hasn't talked out about current events, and it's fueled a lot of speculation and debate. She hasn't really addressed her ex's allegations. Yes, she is busy with her divorce from Ben Affleck. But despite her silence, fans have dredged up a Wendy Williams show interview, which spoke volumes, where JLo's mom, Guadalupe or Lupe Rodriguez, really blatantly opposed her daughter getting back together with Puffy, or even the idea of it. So when the duo were dating, there was like this whole thing, there was a Manhattan nightclub event, somebody else kind of got sentenced to something, and it was totally crazy. And yeah, Mama Bear had something to say about it. So besides JLo, photos of a lot of Hollywood stars, including Leonardo DiCaprio, have also appeared online at these crazy parties. There was a video where Puffy called the Oscar winner his favorite guest. Sarah Jessica Parker's been pictured at Puffy's events over the years. Marlon Wayans, a frequent guest at these parties, has publicly said, like, I never witnessed anything illegal, I left early. And, you know, everybody's saying things, but I think it's the silence that's really speaking volumes right now. Khloe Kardashian has famously described one bash. She mentioned that folks were in the nude. She talked about things in detail that I can't talk about online. Now, last week, a second judge did refuse to grant bail to Puffy. U.S. District Judge Andrew L. Carter said the government had proved that, there was no freaking way that he could leave and it would be safe for the community, and that he won't, tamper with witnesses. And that's all for today, folks. We'll chat next time.